So Silver Pop here, and unfortunately we have another rainy weekend, so it looks like we're going to be assembling our second gazebo in the garage again, and then moving it out on Sunday when the sun is supposed to come back out. Unless the sun breaks early tomorrow, but anyway, it's Friday afternoon. You can see the pollen that's getting washed down by the rain, so the rain is welcome, but just not so good for getting out. So anyway, I did want to spend a little more time on some of the details about the gazebo, and kind of show you a couple things I learned on building the first one, and that may be helpful for you on building yours. As you can see, they deliver these in 2 boxes, roughly about 6.5, 7 feet long, about 2 feet wide, and what's that, about 9 inches deep. They're pretty heavy. They're densely packed. Like I said in the last video, I was real impressed with how they did package everything. Like I said, very tightly packed, very little actual packing material. So they did a really good job. Okay, so I got everything moved indoors so that I can work on this in the garage for the rainy part of the weekend. And because I've done this before, one time before, I kind of recognized the boards. And so I started kind of placing them out in what order and kind of what goes together, so I don't have to hunt and peck through all the different stacks of wood. This is all the roof frame material. I want to note too, you've got really 3 different part numbers. You've got the side rails that'll attach to the side 2x6 rails. Then you've got these that have the hole. That hole is pre-drilled for the bracket that helps hold the roof frame to the actual gazebo. These are going to be our purlins, and of course that's the side 2x6. These are your 4 posts. Note that 2 are short, 2 are long, obviously front and back. There's the feet. I know that that is step 1 in the instruction manual. Also note that when they ship these, they put these spindles for the sidebars, side counters inside those. So they've hollowed them out some. And here's our hardware and instructions. I'll cut those open and lay them out nicely, just like I did last time, so that we can assemble this thing as efficiently as possible. So the long post, which is your front, it's about 7 foot, almost about 7 foot 4 1/4 inches. And just out of curiosity, I was curious as to how much they actually hollowed out, or how much is hollow. 6 feet and about 6.5 inches. So I'm interested in potentially using that space as an electrical chase. Okay, so I've got everything laid out. Kind of put my long bolts together, brackets, all along the top, because I know I'm not going to need those brackets for just a little bit. We'll be getting at these longer bolts, some of the lag bolts, different washers, lock washers, flat washers, different screws. We got Phillips head and Torx head. These are some of my favorite things here though, the barrel nuts and then the T-nuts. The T-nuts are really your friend. You got to tap them in, go ahead and put them in the hole, tap them in just a little bit, let the teeth that's on those things grab the wood, and then you can slide your bolt in from the other side and start to hand tighten it, which is really handy, especially because these bolts are exactly long enough to go through the wood, start threading, but not protrude beyond the backside. So sometimes if you're doing this by yourself, it's helpful to get those teeth started just a little bit, so that it's not so hard to get the threads to mate up. The other thing that I really like a lot is that they provide you with almost everything you need. I mean, you need the cordless drill, but you've got a manual Torx, and then you've got an extension, a Torx bit, a nut driver, and then a Phillips head screw setter. So just about everything you need. It's worth mentioning too that everything is pre-drilled, and on the last one I did, everything lined up pretty well. Even the screw holes have been drilled out with pilot holes. so that you can line everything up, and it makes it square up everything really nicely. So this is the one I did a couple weeks ago, and you can see one of the mistakes I made was I didn't pay attention to the orientation up and down for those pilot holes. Really didn't matter, the screws went right in without a problem, but yeah, so this time I'll pay a little more attention to some of the details that I didn't catch. Another thing that's handy is these are the bottom rails. You have to do this in like the third or fourth step of assembly, and you just hand tighten them, but put these in first, then mount the board to the bracket, because it's hard to get your bit with a cordless drill in at an angle where it doesn't start to bind up, or you run the risk of running it in not square, not straight. Yeah, the reason I haven't installed these counters yet is because I plan on modifying it a little bit. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to bring up too was these brackets. There's one here on this side and the other side of the roof panel. You want to make sure you follow the instructions and install that when you're supposed to. I forgot or missed that step, getting excited about getting the roof frame on, and had to kind of prop the roof up so I could get to it and get that bracket mounted. Once again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff. Anyway, one last point. I want to say it took me, and I'm not a professional, and I take lots and lots of breaks because I am not a spring chicken, about a total of 8 hours. I spent 4 hours on a rainy Saturday assembling most of the big assemblies in the garage. And on Sunday, when the sun was shining, got my daughter and my wife to help, and we put the roof panel together and put it on. 8 hours total working time.